want to improve your grade in science class? Here's an important first step. Find your roadblocks. That's right, figure out what is in your way. Science is a super tough subject for so many of us, but you can't start to get better at it unless you know what's holding you back first. If you can pinpoint for yourself what is holding you back in class, you can be a better science student and improve your grade because you will know exactly what to knock down in order to get there. I can walk you through this process of identifying your roadblocks and knocking them down in my online course, Science Skills Accelerator. Grab it in the link in the description below if you're interested. Hi, I'm Joan Longo. I've been a science educator in many different types of schools from 7th through 12th grades for over 17 years. And in that time, I've noticed some of what is missing for students in science education. And the first big thing that I've noticed is that students don't always think about their roadblocks when it comes to science class. What is going on in your classroom experience and outside your classroom experience that is affecting your performance? There are three main categories or areas that can hold you back: academic environment, outside class environment, and yourself and your own mindset. And from what I've observed, so many students are significantly affected by at least one of these areas. So let's talk about each one and how they can affect you. Academic environment first. These are things like your teachers, quality of the school and school culture, and the resources and technology that you have access to through your school. These are things that for the most part are out of your control, but it's important to reflect on whether or not they could be affecting your performance in science class. For example, does your teacher not explain things well? Do they have expectations that are too low or too high for you? Do you like your teacher? We're not necessarily blaming or saying your teacher is not effective. This is not about that at all. But it is important to think about their influence on your learning and your success, both negative and positive, to be honest. Another thing to look at: how is your school culture? In other words, what feels important to the members of your school? Is it academics, sports, diversity, behavior, and manners? The focus of your school can affect how you view and even perform in your science class. Think about the resources also that you have access to in school, especially in terms of technology and lab material. Does your lab equipment look like your parents could have used it, or is it brand spanking new? Of course, all schools are different, but this lab equipment observation can give you at least a little bit of an inkling about whether or not your school takes your science program seriously, or sometimes, in some cases, even too seriously. Do you have a Chromebook that dies on you every 6 seconds? Or maybe your school isn't into tech and you do a lot more with pencil and paper. Again, we're not blaming your school for your performance in science class. Believe me, I have seen successful science students come out of a school where I used a chalkboard and overhead projector for lessons, and academics was certainly not the focus. But consider how your school factors in for you. Okay, so the next category to look at in terms of what could hold you back in science class is your out-of-class environment. This includes your life and relationship with family and friends, responsibilities outside of class, and the technology that you have access to for yourself. Similar to your academic environment, at least some of this you probably don't have total control over, but it is important to be aware. Think about things like, how seriously do your family and friends take school and learning? It could be super casual or possibly super uptight and rigid, but either way, that influences your motivation to perform in science at a certain level. Does your phone distract you a lot, either out of class or in class or both? Do you have an after-school job, sports, or clubs that suck away any and all of your time outside of class? Even if you don't feel like you have control over these things, you don't really have to change your habits immediately. The first step is awareness. The last category of roadblocks is really all about you and has the highest level of flexibility in terms of you having the power to make changes with the right support. Science Skills Accelerator course covers this in a ton more detail, but for now, understand that your confidence and mindset going into science class have a huge effect on how you learn in your performance. Even if you have years of built up fear, shame, anxiety, or just any icky feelings about science, you really do have the power to break out of that. I've seen students do it when I wasn't even sure it was possible, and I've heard teachers label them as not a math and science kid, and they had significant problems going on in their home life. But figuring out how it affects you is the first step in fighting this roadblock. Chances are, if this affects you and you're watching this part of the video, you are at least already a little aware of how it does affect you. And I'll tell you right now from my experience, you are certainly not alone, especially in our world post-COVID, where negative feelings towards school and also science have skyrocketed for students. Anyway, that's a lot to digest for now, but if you could walk away from this doing anything, it would be to just stop, think, and reflect on some of the roadblocks that are affecting your performance in science class. They may be influences from in school or out of school or even from within yourself. But either way, if they're hurting you in science class, they're important to consider. I'll have some more videos coming out shortly to give you more tips on improving your science grade. But if you want to learn more now, click the link in the description below for my free guide, 10 tips, this one included, to improve your science grade. And of course, if you'd like a way more comprehensive walkthrough on exactly how to improve your science grade step by step, check out the Science Skills Accelerator online course linked in the description below. Thanks, and I hope to see more of you soon.